Just holding off for a bit before we get officially started. We're just chatting a little bit because I want to show a video. It's a short video. I've compiled it specially for this two videos in one for this session. So.
Okay, that's fine.
So you had a few questions to ask. What were the topics you wanted to discuss briefly? Just now. We're not going to discuss them now, but I want to hear about them if I can.
Yeah, I haven't managed to watch all of your videos, so I don't know if you'd be repeating anything, but what I call home is Gambia, and
Okay.
looking at your map, it looks like it's gone, and it was my intention to go back within the next couple of months.
Okay, Gambia.
So
Okay.
where else in Africa would be a safe
Okay.
place?
Okay.
And
No.
after
Yeah, go
would
ahead.
Gambia rise up again at all?
Okay, where are you now?
I'm in England
In
now,
England,
so
okay.
I definitely have to leave here as well.
Oh yeah, yes, yeah. Okay, so I'm chuckling because frankly, I've been putting off Africa and dealing with it because it's the continent I know least about.
Okay.
And oh no, we'll get into it. We'll get into it because I can easily get into it, and I need to. So plus we'll have some guide. My spiritual guide will be now. If we're talking about specific areas, very specific, he'll get into it. So that's my backup, my main thing.
Yeah.
Well, no, my front is I look at it with my mind, right, and my little bit of experience that I have, and then I work through it, and the other layer is very important, and that is what I call the seeker, or the person that's seeking the safe location. To call it the person, the seeker, if they've had any visions, strong intuitive hunches, sleep dreams, or if they're aware of any daytime dreams that I call waking dreams, or synchronicities. People call them synchronicities these days. So,
Yes.
so if you've had any of those, they take priority. Okay.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, about maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, my spirit said to me, "It's time to go home now.
Oh,
Pack up."
awesome! Oh God,
So
we
I
can work
thought,
with
right,
that.
I'm going to Gambia. I've been wanting to go before the lockdown
Oh,
started
okay.
last year, but like I said, looking at your videos, it's going to be underwater. So I don't know if it means go home to Gambia just so I can get started, like just be in Africa, and then once I'm there, try and figure out the best place in Africa to move on to afterwards.
Okay, well, we'll Gambia. Yeah, Gambia.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay, I appreciate that.
Okay, sure. Yeah. All right. So I guess we could get started. So this is being recorded. So I want to play this video. I think it's about 25 seconds long. So I've edited it out so it's fast, so you all can see the black screen. And
Yes.
okay, good, thank you. Okay, so I'll give you a little explanation first. The first one is an amazing piece of software that was played out against when the Three Gorges Dam in China breaks. The reason that's relevant is because North America has dams, I believe, at least as big as this. I'm sorry, I should rephrase that. They have dams that are very large. I haven't done any comparison, but this is the type of flooding that will occur that shows in this video, the first video. The second video is of falling rock, and that's a landslide. So I wanted to just emphasize why I talk about not being too close to steep mountain cliffs for your safe location. Okay, I'll start the video.
A few days ago, this simulation video was shared in China. The Three Gorges Dam is 182 meters high and 2,355 meters wide and holds 39.3 billion cubic meters of water. When the Three Gorges Dam collapses, a huge 100-meter high water column explodes and hits the downstream. At the first, there are mountains.
So you can see the type of damage it's going to do. Now I speeded this up, but the water will be moving very fast from a broken dam. This will all be happening either possibly before the pole shift, when earth changes become more intense, or during. I edited out the sound because people were shouting and screaming, so I took that out there. Watch this next rock take out that footbridge. So yeah, so thanks for bearing with me on that. So when I'm looking at safe locations, this is the two main things I'm looking for is rogue moving water, and also obviously what the sea is going to do if you're within 100 miles or so of the coast. I just want to make a quick statement. So I'm getting more and more requests for safe location advice. Back in the day, I used to do these things for free, and so I write, a couple of paragraphs for people, and take me maybe 40 minutes an hour at a max to put that together in analysis. And so what I found was two things: is it's inefficient because people would be asking, they weren't necessarily serious about moving. They were just wanting, just general information, but they happened to throw in a town, right? So I had to stop doing that because I just don't have the time to write long emails anymore. And so that's why I got into making the videos. So, but now I've got comments to answer on my video page. That's ongoing. There's new videos I put up, and I've got Facebook messaging that the people ask me, and I got two emails that people email me at. And so I'm going somewhere with this. I'm not, well, I guess I'm whining a little bit, but anyways, if I am, I shouldn't be, but because I've considered it a privilege to be doing what I'm doing. And now I'm becoming overwhelmed with that. No, I'm not talking emotionally overwhelmed, it's time overwhelming. So, a couple of years ago, I started charging for my time, and so I do personal consultations, which a person needs anyways, because you say, oh, I want to move in this town, like where in the town, so now you're looking at coordinates, and so it takes time to analyze that, and afterwards I don't forget about I may forget a client's name, but I don't forget about the advice. I'm concerned about that, and I like to do follow-ups if I can. So it takes my time, and so at any rate, so I do these. So that's why I navigated to these Zoom sessions, so that I can do more people at once, give them advice, and now I still do the odd. So continue to email me or contact me, and if I have time, I'll respond. If I don't respond, you can send another email and perhaps maybe give more, because I probably won't respond if it's a general comment or general question, right? Because of my timing that I have. But if you're specific, then I can definitely help a lot more when I get the time. So what I wanted to finish off by saying is that if I don't respond the first time, keep sending me emails with the same subject line so that they'll stack up on my email client. I'm having a few email issues right now, so keep contacting me and eventually it'll get through and I'll make the time. And okay, so I just wanted to say that. Okay, so was Abby, I believe. I believe it was Abby, you, that we were talking about West Africa. Okay. Now, did you want to focus in on a particular country to start with?
I was thinking of between Ghana, Togo, Benin, Nigeria, into Cameroon, but
Around,
wherever is safe to go
okay.
in West Africa,
Okay,
that
so
would
that,
be perfect.
okay, so that's going to be a general question, which will have a general answer. Now we had another one there. So when you're doing if you're doing your own research on Africa, volcanoes, the thing to keep in mind is that it's volcanoes that are 10,000 years old or younger. Those are the volcanoes that Zeta says will erupt during the pole shift, if they're not erupting now, and will continue to erupt for a long time. We're talking decades. And of course that means downwind, you are looking at unlivable conditions. So we use this map here for that. So here we have, now let me find the prevailing winds. So we know, okay, let's go back to the new geography. So we've got, now we've got that volcano here on the coast here, which we see here. And usually, sometimes these volcanoes have they call it a volcanic field. So go, now here they show several volcanoes here in this area. Thankfully, they're grouped together here. So it makes it a little easier on analysis. So remember, this is because you're just asking, over a broad piece of geography, I can only give you a general idea, right? Okay, so since we know that the prevailing winds are going to blow more or less, can you see the cursor, right, Abby?
Yes,
okay.
Yes, I can.
So we know the winds will blow more or less like this. It doesn't mean that a storm can't come in from the from the equator, monsoon for example, and which brings rain, which is good. But you could have a mixing of air currents, right? Cyclonic action. So it tends to spread out the ash flow, right? So it looks like from this, so anywhere to, now this is turned over on its side, okay? But to the current, we'll go back to the African continent. So to the current east of the West African coast here would be more or less free of ash. Okay? Now,
Right.
so Zeta Talk tells us that you want to be 100 miles from a volcano. And I would assume that would be in any direction. Remember, when a volcano goes off, you've got pyroclastic flows that flow down, and also deadly masses amounts of carbon dioxide that come down and will flow down the flank of the volcano and fill the valleys, right? So
Right.
yeah, so that's why you want to keep your distance, right? This could be it here. Yeah, I think that's it right there. That's the volcano.
Right.
So that, if you're lucky, the winds will carry the ash out into the Gulf of Guinea, but that'll be facing. This will be south, right, after the
Right.
pole shift, right? So that means so if you do your own research, you'll look for volcanoes and try to find them.
Okay.
That looks like a town. Whoa, look at that, eh? Yeah. So yeah, and they have to be 10,000 years old or younger. So I would say that if you're looking at eastern, current eastern, right? I'm just talking the current orientation of the globe, right?
Okay.
Eastern Cameroon and eastern, well, let's see, it gets better in, how do we say this? Gabon?
Gabon.
Oh, Gabon, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would be a bit better because it's farther from that volcano, right?
Right.
So the cool thing about Africa is that the ground is just so solid. Like the continent is just solid. We know that there's a lot of action going on in the Rift Valley to the east, right? And we've got lots of volcanoes in here. But that's because anyways, because of the way Africa is moving, rotating, right? But generally, it's really excellent. So, yeah. Now, if we were to move up, looking at these other countries are not named. Oh, Nigeria. Have you had any visions or hunches about Africa, or
No, but I'm just getting in my spirit to go to Africa. But where is the question?
so they're
That's the
telling you
problem I'm having.
they're telling you to go to Africa.
Yeah, I'm getting in my spirit to go to Africa.
Okay. So what is your preferences? What are your preferences?
I really don't know. All I know is I just want somewhere that's safe.
Okay.
That, after the
Okay.
pole shift,
Okay.
it will be safe to live.
Okay. So, all right.
Not with the phone mount.
Yeah, we're going to do that now. So here you can see we've got the dark blue will be the sea moving inland. This is not the pole shift waves. That's something different. We'll get into that a little bit. But typically, okay, so here we've got a long distance, for example, in Nigeria from the coast. So if you're going to go, say, northeastern Nigeria, for example, then you won't have to worry about the sea, the sea water waves coming in during the pole shift. You just have to concern yourself about the floods, right? So we're looking at Zeta Talk has said that it's 675 feet globally. So, well, clearly see that eastern Nigeria up in the mountains there will work. Now, 100. So if we were to measure that, and I believe that's it there. So let's take. Okay, so let's go 100 miles, right? So here's for safety's sake. You see, we're roughly 100-mile circle here. Okay, so that pretty much takes out this whole crotch, if I can use a crude term, a crotch area here in the here, right?
What? That's all going underwater?
No, no. This is the 100 roughly. Oops, the roughly. Oh, I gotta be careful. That's kilometers. Just a sec. This is the distance you want to keep from the volcano.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's all like in there like that. You see?
Right.
You see? So we're talking, that's 100 kilometers. So we're talking, well, of course, you don't want to be on the coast, right? Because of the sea waves. So if you were to go, okay, we're there. Right. So that pretty much lets out pretty much anything on the coast over here. So you're up here. Probably now, is that Nigeria again? Yeah. So we're Nigeria.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
probably now this is recorded, so you'll be able to watch this later. And but up in this area here is far enough away from this volcano and probably the other volcanoes in this area. So Benin.
Yeah.
Benin. Okay. So anyways, this area here would work. Okay. Obviously northern Nigeria. But I think I've looked in these areas before. It's funny, you know what? Whenever I think of Nigeria, I think of bandits.
Oh, the bandits are more up in the north.
Are they? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's a no-no. Oh, to go to the north of Nigeria.
So you to the north of Nigeria.
They're all gonna die.
Oh, so that's interesting. You see, I wouldn't. So northern Nigeria is where all those pain in the ass kids are.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, well, that changes things. See, I don't know these things.
I would rather go to Benin than be in the north of Nigeria.
Okay.
Benin is safer.
In this area here.
The Benin.
Oh.
Oh, that's Burkina Faso. Yeah, that's the Benin.
Yeah. Okay. But you're saying Benin. Okay. So, yeah. So there. Okay. Well, that's a start. And you know, the farther you move to the current west in the highlands here, the farther you get away from this volcano here. So you know, if there's any cyclonic action of the winds, you might be this crotch area. Sorry for the term, but anyways, it would be the area that would probably swirl, right? Yeah, so you can see here where you have highland that'll work for you. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much for that.
Okay, so if you come back to a Zoom session in the future with some coordinates, okay?
Okay.
And how you get coordinates is you right click on the map, and here's the coordinates right there, and you click on that, puts it into your what they call. And now this is if you're on a computer.
Right. Is this Google Earth?
Well, no, this is good. This is just Google Maps, and that's fine. I switched to this. So then all I need to do is so all you need to do is just Control V, and boom, we're right there. Okay.
Oh wow.
So that makes it easy for me if somebody is sending coordinates for me to comment on, or if they want a personal consultation. I can zoom right in there, and I can go to terrain. Oh, it's flat there. Yeah. And probably no, that's the trouble with Africa. We don't get much. Well, okay, so that's when we switch over to Google Earth and we go to 3D and we're over at Benin, right there. Yeah, so we can zoom in a bit, get a sense of what the lay of the land is. Yeah, so that's, okay, so does that get you going for now?
Okay, yes. That's
Okay.
good, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. So, and then we had Gambia. Okay, let's see.
The smallest country on the mainland as well, right by the coast.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's odd. I've never really looked at it. It's all along the river.
Yes, it is.
Wow. I've never seen a country like that before. Now, these other countries that border, are you available to go there?
Yeah, the country that borders is Senegal. Senegal and Gambia used to once be one country.
Okay.
So they're basically the same people.
Okay. That's nice. Okay. Now, yeah, you'll be right on the equator. So that'll be hot. Okay, you're in England now, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Oh, so if we were to switch over and go to our flood map, Gambia is out. Well, yeah, that's quite a chunk, isn't it?
I think Senegal's gone as well.
Yeah. So now, did you have a question about the area? Because you knew beforehand that was going to be flooded over, right?
Yes, I did. So my question, I guess, is general as well, because that's what I said to you. I found out that it is gone. So where else would be safe for to go? I was discussing it with my children, and one of my daughters said Chad. The other one said Botswana. Not that they know anything about it. But
yeah, I know. But kids, they,
Yeah, so there might be something in what they're saying.
Yeah.
That was just a quick response to me. Why don't we try more?
Okay. All right.
But with regards to Gambia, though, once the pole shift passes and the water drains out, do you know if it will resurface?
Well, you're talking about the pole shift waves.
Yes.
Okay. So, but here we're looking at a permanent flooding. Okay.
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 So it won't exist anymore.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
Yeah. Now, unless you said to me, these coordinates say on the fringe of the flooding, say. Okay, I'll give you an example. So you can still see this? You can still see this?
Yes, I can.
So if you were, say, oh, we've got some land here, right? Say, because it's just on the edge or just near the edge, right?
Yes.
So then, if that was the case, then when I look at it, then I'll get influence from the guides. We'll say yay or nay, if it works.
Okay.
Because this is just a flood map based on 676 feet of flood, right? But we know that the continents are moving in a wholesale manner, and some are getting a lift and some are getting pushed down. We know that Africa is not going to be pushed down, but there could be some extenuating circumstances to a particular area that the guides would know about, right?
Okay.
But obviously, the closer we move to the coast here, it's pretty obvious that, you know, that the likelihood of that area being not flooded becomes more and more unlikely, because the movements
Okay.
because the movements of Africa are not, they're not saying it rises or it falls, right? But you know, Zeta Talk, as great as it is, they can't cover the entire globe with every possible scenario, right? They just
I
give us
understand.
they give us a framework to work with, and we have to pick up the ball and go with it, right? And do our research and our due diligence, right? So, yeah. So as far as, yeah, so I think, so you'll see this, you can watch this video later and make notes. You know, you can see what the likelihood of this area is for flooding. Okay?
Okay.
And then, now, Chad, I looked at that a while ago. Yeah, there is, no, they don't show it here. I remember doing this a few years ago with for a guy. Right in the center there, just about. And I think that's where Chad is.
Yeah, I think my daughter chose Chad because it was in the center, but I don't think she took into consideration whether it has mountains or volcanoes.
Yeah, I know.
She just said because of its location,
Yeah,
thinking let's get to the center.
yeah, yeah. So somewhere around here, there's a volcano somewhere around here.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's going to be blowing that way towards the Gulf, right?
Okay.
So if you are, you know, eastern Chad, the current east. I mean, that's right in the desert, isn't it? Isn't that all desert there now? I know it's changing.
I have no idea
Well,
actually,
it's,
but
yeah,
the color would suggest that to me.
yeah, okay, yeah. So that's Chad. And what was the other child said what?
Botswana.
I'm sorry,
Botswana.
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 Okay,
More in the south.
Botswana.
More in the south of
I
Africa.
see. Yeah. Well, okay. Okay. Well, we definitely got desert up here. South Africa along the you know, the tip, has got great land.
What do you consider to be great? Is desert land a good place to be?
No, because how can you live in a desert?
That's what I thought.
Yeah, no, no, I don't. I'm just saying that South Africa, this area is desert, and that's not great. But South Africa has some nice green areas.
Yeah, I'd like
Right.
to be somewhere green so we could still
Yeah.
possibly grow food.
Yeah, and also in your to the east side of the Cape here, there's some great areas. But yeah, yeah. So it looks to me like Botswana. You know, again, if you were talking a specific, you know, a specific area, then that we could go into that like a right. But you know, it looks like there's some green areas here, but I don't know Africa well, right? It could be like lions and tigers there. I don't know, right? So I don't know, right? So I just so that's so I can't really comment on it other than it looks pretty. Look, a lot of desert here. So, but there is a game reserve. I don't know if you're allowed to live in a game reserve or what. So, right? This is a game reserve, right? So, okay, so does that sort of give you a rough idea to work with?
Yeah, it looks like right there where it's green. Maybe I should be going there, that dark green. Based on what you told me, looks like that's where I should be going.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It,
What is that?
well,
Democratic Republic of
the Congo, right? And so now that would be what was going to look at. You don't have to worry about that part. oh yeah, it's volcanoes, right? So there are some volcanoes. Okay, so so that's not a good choice because you see you've got quite a few volcanoes in the Rift Valley. I believe they call that the Rift Valley. Yeah, it's up through here. And you're going to have a lot of ash blowing across the continent. That does put a new spin on Cameroon. Let's see how far that is. So let's go. I know they're in.
Are those triangles? What are the red triangles? Are those volcanoes? I don't know how to identify a volcano.
Yeah, they are.
Okay. And I need to be on the east of the volcano.
Well, yeah, you want to be.
Okay, because of the
now,
wind.
you see here we've got volcanoes all in this area here, right? Go back. So that's here. If we go back to volcanoes. Yeah, all along that there and even there.
Okay.
So just a sec, let me just check that out. And that's down here. Because these volcanoes here are going to blow here over Angola. But then that, you know, that's 1,000 miles, right? So by the time the ash gets to, the heavy ash drops early, you know, in the first few, maybe 10 or 20 miles. And after about that, you get medium ash, and then you get very light ash. So if you look at a volcanic ash cloud, right, you can see it eventually rises into the stratosphere. So so Angola is like, I'm getting a yes, Angola is likely to be okay, but you would have a bit of volcanic gloom in the sky high up. Okay, so Angola, yeah. So as far as Cameroon, eastern Cameroon is concerned, that's 1,400 miles, right? So that's a long ways away, right? So
Okay.
you're still okay in eastern Cameroon, right? Okay.
Okay.
That was for
that's
Abby.
good.
Okay. Somebody. Oh, Bonita.
Yes.
Hi,
yes.
Bonita.
Hi there. So I'm not prepared to go overseas yet, but I've been considering relocating to Tennessee. I have a daughter in Nashville, and just wondering what that would be looking like.
Nashville. Okay, Nashville, Tennessee will be pretty much flooded. The town, the city, but the land on the higher areas to the east in eastern Tennessee is good. Now I say good, and that's relative. It's a relative term. You can see that it's flooded, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now these fringe areas around, you know, the flooding areas are, you know, they're safe areas as far as the geology is concerned, and as far as safe from the pole shift waves, right, and safe from the flooding from like the pole melt flood, right? But they're not safe from survivor migrants that will be pushed from, you know, from Jackson, for example, or Murray or Madisonville, or right. These areas here will have all kinds of flooding issues, and they'll push people up into the higher land here. And it's the same, of course, with Atlanta, right, in these southern areas. But you know, when you zoom in on these areas, you know, you've got areas that you could settle in, right? Now that's what it is. Is that Tennessee? Does it need to be Tennessee, like, per se?
Not necessarily. I have a daughter who lives there at the present time, and I'm just really wanting to get out of California. First
Okay.
of all.
All right.
And
Okay. So you're thinking maybe if you moved to a safe area in Tennessee or this area that she might join you, kind of thing.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, yeah. So there's a lot of choice in here, right?
Yeah.
But you want to look at what you want to look at is how you want to go forward after you move. Like before you move there, ideally, I suggest you are you buying?
At this point, I don't think buying any. No,
Okay, so
no.
you're renting.
Yeah.
So look for a piece of property that you can rent, lease through February 2023.
Okay.
Okay, because the pole shift date is February 4, 2023,
Okay.
and now that's my date exclusively. Um, and I've in the past videos I've explained what that means, and I might, if people are interested, I will explain it a little bit because it's not so simple. But we know it'll be early February by the calendar. Okay, and I'll explain that in a minute if you if. Oh yeah, so you lease it through a piece of property past that date into into late, even if it's just March, right? 2023. Okay. So then if you can get a piece of property with a house on it, and then you would be with a lease like that in an area that's dry here, right? It's above the flooding, then you've got a good chance. But you'll have to go to the next stage once you move there, which is
Right.
setting up a bunker and what you're going to live in after the pole shift. So you should set your intentions going forward as want to be in a safe area in this area. You might want to try first on a waking dream, ask for confirmation whether Tennessee is good for you. It'll work for you, right? And just wait to see what comes, what synchronicities come your way. Well, waking dreams are synchronicities, right? You're thinking about something, and then you see the answer. Have you had that happen?
I have.
Okay, yeah. So that's what I call waking dreams. So so ask for that to start off with. If you get a positive on that, so great. So then now you can take that further, right? And then on the flip side, you can set your intentions. You want to be in a safe area in Tennessee, and how you'd feel about that. How you'd feel about being in a safe area. Now, your daughter is an adult, right? She's a grown lady, right? Woman.
Yes.
Yeah. So, you can't force because she's her own woman, right? So
Right.
you see, you can't set an intention, set an intention for you to be with your daughter per se with conditions on it, because she may have a different soul plan. So play with it. But certainly, waking dreams, you can get into the detail. You can ask for responses on particular questions and watch what comes, okay?
Yeah, it makes sense.
So as people come up with questions, explain a little bit about the date a bit. The date is a calendar date, February 4, 2023. Now, as we get closer to the pole shift, especially in the last month, the Earth's rotation is going to start slowing more and more noticeably until it actually stops 6 days before the actual pole shift. So that means your timekeeping goes out the window. right? But in the later stages of 2022, you'll have to keep track of the days on the on a paper calendar as they pass. Because if you had for example, a mechanical watch, which I recommend you have, with a calendar function in it, right, which you'd use at during the 6-day period before the pole shift, because the Earth will be stopped and you'll have no sense of time at all, other than your intuitive sense. So the mechanical watch helps you to tick away, to watch the days as they progress, right? But leading up to that, if you were watching your mechanical watch, say in November, it would be if you're comparing that to the rising and setting of the sun, generally, the watch will be ahead by a few hours and more, right? Because it's based on the old 24-hour day rotation, right? So that's why you'll need a paper calendar to mark the days as they actually happen going forward, and save the mechanical watch until sun stoppage or Earth rotation stoppage, right? So that's how you have to play with it, but that's the idea. So the February 4th is based on the calendar date and not on the mechanical watch ticking uninterrupted from now to the pole shift. So I hope that's clear, right? So
England should be expecting is it a tsunami? Or well, I think you said 200-foot waves. Is that still on its way? Like how?
Oh yeah, it'll be coming, but that 200-footer is will be in the last months before the pole shift. Okay. So really, if a person is in the UK, hopefully they have moved from southern England, or they're up in the Highlands somewhere, the Peak District, or the Pennines.
Yes.
Somewhere higher by then, right? So it's
would that be towards the end of 2022 then?
Yes. Well,
okay.
did you say spring of 2022?
No, I said, would it be towards the end? You said
yes.
3 months before the pole shift.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so you...
Well, I hope to leave within the next couple of months anyway.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So that would be... Yeah. Now, that doesn't mean that around the world, we're getting them now, rogue waves, tsunamis, right out of the blue, right? So wherever you go, you don't want to be in a river valley near the sea, or next to a river near the sea, or on the coast.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, you just need to be, several hundred feet in elevation higher, and maybe a half a mile or so from the coast, to be more or less safe, generally speaking, from a tsunami out of the blue. Because those will be happening. So there'll be something that the Zeta Talk is not predicted per se, right? Because there's too many possibilities. So you just have to protect yourself. So in your intermediates, wherever you move to, let's say you're moving to, were you asking about Africa earlier? Sorry.
Yes, I was.
Okay, so
yes.
you're moving there. So if you have an intermediate town you want to live in, we know most towns are on river valleys and on the coast, right?
Yeah.
But if you do that, make sure you're high in that town. You're not...
Yeah, that's the thing. See, I definitely have to touch Gambia before I find my final destination. But Gambia, I believe, is a flat country.
Yeah. Right. Whoa. Yeah.
So when I leave
Okay.
in the next couple of months, I will be landing in Gambia, and then, like I said, well, before then, I will have decided which country to then move on to.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, as long as you're a few miles from the coast and you're up, well, let's see, it's still pretty low, isn't it? Yeah. If you're stay away from the coast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I heard you mentioning asking somebody would they be renting or buying. I'm thinking to myself, if I rent somewhere, that when this all starts to happen, the owner might decide to come and bunk in their own accommodation and even kick you out. When a pole shift happens, is that the owner's not? I would imagine the owner wouldn't care. They're going to try and get to somewhere safe themselves.
Well, so that's where waking dreams comes and setting your intention comes into play, right? To make sure that you're guided in that to the right place to lease or even to rent, right?
Yeah.
So you might ask for a waking dream whether renting is an option for you or leasing is an option for you, which is best. Yeah. So yeah, you want to look for a waking dream. So you understand what I mean by that, right?
Somebody saying something, seeing a sign on the street. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. You got it. Yeah. And then you could double check that too to make sure you're not sort of reaching out, because early on when I was in my 40s, I was just so excited about it, right? And so I was playing with different concepts around it, right? And so I had to learn eventually that how it works, and it's usually by the way your attention is drawn. Right? I find, I don't know about you, but for example, I'm driving my car, I just don't stare at the road ahead of me. I'm not that kind of, some people drive like that, I guess. The only place they look is straight ahead, right? Right. But my eyes sort of wander around looking at, I'm just interested in different things, right? So I see things or if you're walking somewhere, right? Yeah. It works the way your attention is drawn. So you'll turn your head and look at something, and you don't know why you're turning your head to look at something. You just turn it, and then you see, right? And I find it works that way. Is I'll be inspired, unbeknownst by me, to turn my head and look at something. And that is usually the message. And I get these many times during the day as I'm working out my stuff, right? Right. And so you just learn to read the signs, right? So, Vass has a question. Good evening, Chris. Could you check out Tucson, Arizona, please? Want to ensure I'll survive wave, and could you check dams in that area? Well, okay, the dams part is solved by not being low, right? And you don't want to be low anyways. Do I hear a bird? Okay. Oh, that's Tucson. Right, okay. Sorry. My tunnel vision again. Well, that's on the flats there. Yeah, so you want to be in the Catalina foothills and in these foothills over here. And you've got that river running through there. You're obviously considering this area, obviously, right, Vass? Oh.
Sure.
You're just looking at it.
Yes.
Whoa, that's highly populated. That's crazy. You wouldn't want to live in Tucson. But if you found some areas, whoa, look at all that development up there, eh? These, yeah. Yeah. And well, I mean, you could go up higher. Yeah, up here. works at higher elevation areas. So, but Tucson itself it would be crazy nuts, just based on the population alone and the fact it's on the flats and there's a river nearby. It runs through it, right? Just never mind dams, right? It's gone. This town is gone, unless again you're up here higher up. So, and the same would be on this side too, as long as you're higher up, right? And not in a draw. I think we talked about that before, right? You don't want to be, for example, a bad place to be would be right there. This would be bad. Can you see my cursor there? Thus?
I can hear.
You can see it, right? So you've got water coming down here, you got water coming down here, and that would be focused right through there, and this would be a big gully washed right out, right? So that's a bad place to be. So it's very tricky along when you close to these mountains like that. But if you're back a bit, if you're back a bit, like for example, if you're on this high area here, that would work. It could work on this high area there. Up this high area here could work, right? So you get the message there, right?
I do.
Okay.
I got you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
I had a comment. I wanted to thank the Obi for bringing that point up. Avi, I think, for bringing that point up about purchasing or selling. And then I just wanted to say I appreciate, the daydream concept, because my thinking was, if I'm thinking about shifting and moving someplace, probably a lot of other people are as well.
Yeah.
And so when, you mentioned the people that would be coming from the west and influx into Tennessee.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, it's not just me that's looking for a safe place. It's going to be a lot of people. So just, after the bunkering, and then, what else am I going to need to actually be safe? Because if I'm, again, I think a lot of people are going to be shifting and moving, and, you got to be like strong to survive, not just the pole shift, but other people who might be thinking along the same lines as you are. And if food and shelter and things are kind of scarce, how am I going to be sure that I'm safe? So I just wanted to say I appreciate, that thought of asking where is going to be the safest place for me and my family.
So thank you. And you use your setting your intentions in concert with your waking dreams. Because the cool thing about setting your intentions is that you can set your intentions and then forget about them. Your intentions are set, right? So then you can do your due diligence and your investigation and your your work by allowing the guidance to work through waking dreams with more detail. So they both work together, you see. One thing you might want to consider too is adding to your intentions that you would like to be in or near a group of like-minded people, because people are going to come together, right? They have to. People will have to form communities and work together, and so you set the intentions that you're directed to people of like mind. People that want to share their cucumbers and their potatoes. They want to collaborate with others, and so that that they're helping each other. So okay. All right. So I need more questions. We've got a little time left.
Yeah, sorry, can I ask another question, please?
Okay.
Regarding being in England, because I was thinking of moving to Scotland before actually going to Africa. Is there a safe place in England Before moving to Africa,
Yeah.
I like to move out of where I am in
Okay.
England.
Okay.
Because
So
I'm in the southeast of England.
what's the time frame?
Well, I'm hoping maybe before the end of this year.
Because what I would normally ask in a private consultation, private one, is what your address is. And
Right.
but you don't want to do that on this video. Oh, that's right on the river.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's not, because if you get some rogue, yeah, wave coming up there. Well, I mean, all you got to do is move away from the river. Any area that is not going to be threatened by the sea, so that's anywhere where there's not a river valley, like for example these areas here, right? Or so you don't want to be near a river. So if you are away from a river, that gives you a lot of also too, you don't want to be too close to, oh well, here's a reservoir, you don't want to be close to a reservoir, so that gives you have a lot of choice.
Because I'm kind of going by what you said about European tsunami.
It actually passes all around the island.
Oh.
Right. So there's
Right.
so it's the worst would probably be along the English Channel, and certainly up Bristol, up this area here, right, where it will funnel and push well into possibly even to Worcestershire.
Right.
Right.
So I was thinking like up north, maybe like somewhere like Sheffield, Leeds, Scotland, or something like that.
You don't have to go that far. I mean, you just have.
Oh.
No, you don't. You just have to move to higher ground. But the tsunami is not going to happen until after you move out of England, anyways.
Oh, okay, that's all right then.
So you don't have to worry about that. The only thing would be is if there happened to be a rogue tsunami come up the channel here.
Yeah.
Right. So if you are, some reasonable distance from the river, is it, Medway? How do you say it?
Medway.
Medway?
Medway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you've got, 100 feet elevation, right? So you go to this map, right? This is the map here. It's called, hey, what's that? sealevel.com. Okay,
sealevel.com.
here, I'll put it in the chat. Okay, in a second here. So so you just need to be, half a mile from the river and about 100 feet up. England is so low. Yeah. Yes, if you're up 135 feet. Yeah. Or you've got some distance from the river, wherever you are in this town. If you got, you don't want to be in a low part here. You see there's a dip here, right? Yeah. So wherever you are, say you're here, all you really need to do is move here.
Oh, okay.
Or if you're down in this dip here, you see there's a depression there. It's low. You just need to move uphill.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Yeah.
So depending on where you are, but if you are out, say for example, a little farther out this way, then you don't have to worry about it because you're far enough from the river. Somebody was Melanie. Is that Melanie? Melanie?
Yes.
Hi, Melanie. Algonquin Highlands.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds good. Oh yeah. Yeah. Good. Good. Is good solid land there. And you got another one here. Good, good. It's even better.
Sorry?
No problem.
Okay. Can I ask you a bit about the climate in the aftertime? So
Okay.
I'm reading that western parts of Canada is having really terrible heat waves. So I'm just wondering whether that's that do you see that as a concern for, for the entire swath of Canada, where because it's a lot closer to the equator? Is it just something about the new microclimate that we have to prepare for?
Well,
That it will be really hot.
yeah, well, it will be nice and warm, but the weather will settle out and will normalize per area. As far as Ontario is concerned, it's going to be about somewhere around 35 or 40 degrees north latitude, which is pretty decent.
Oh, I see. Oh,
That's
yeah.
pretty decent. Yeah, 40, about 35 degrees. That's pretty dang decent weather, right?
Okay.
So here you are, Ontario. Yeah, so you're sort of in this area here, right? And so you got rain, you got warm temperatures, fairly warm, right? You have seasons, you have seasons, right? Like definitive seasons, which living over here, I probably won't have. It'll be hot all the time, right? So the seasons would be so that would, great weather. You're gonna have rain, which is good. You've got great land, so it's good. So the climate's going to be so different, right? It's very difficult to call. We just know you'll be around 35 to 40 degrees north latitude, and you'll be near the sea. Warm water will be circulating up the Hudson's Bay area here from the equator here, right? So you'll have pretty nice weather, if you ask me. Pretty nice weather if you're in that area, Algonquin Park here. That's around here, right? So, and it'll normalize. You can't expect going forward that there won't be, crazy weather. I mean, it's going to be happening, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's starting to happen here again, right? So we're having a heat wave this weekend. How is that for now, Melanie? Good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just wondering, overlooking anything.
Okay, no, that's good.
I thought I'll just run that general area by you first, and then if I have, I'll come back to you again later privately.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you can get to Ontario, I'd be very happy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Mark.
Yes.
Adjudication. Okay, so, okay, Texas is really, look at it. Oh, I'm not sharing this, am I? No. Oops, okay, we can kill that. Oh, I gotta go back to the, okay, so, oh. Bear with me for a second while I figure something out here. Can you see this map? Oh, you can, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why I couldn't. Okay, I've had a lot of people ask me about Texas. I'll tell you about Texas, and this will be quick. You've got water coming in during the pole shift from the Gulf that will push up beyond the balconies. And Zeta says that the water will push all the way to the Rockies, but it'll be low. It'll be only a few feet, right? So what happens is you get the kill. The kill will be about 50 miles from the Gulf. So then probably from balconies on, it'll be a lot of people without power, electricity, food, or fresh water. Well, that'll be for certain, right? So what happens is they get pushed the houses will get foundations will be washed away. There'll be all kinds of damage. So people will start moving towards, you know, the mountains. Okay, as higher land. We know that, you know, northern Texas is pretty high. But so what happens is because you have a low wave that's pushing into eastern Texas, possibly even in New Mexico, okay, then there's likely to be some dry areas that are saved, you know, from the water. So let's say you're a spearman, right? 3,100 feet there. Yeah, you got a little bit of a ridge here, right? So where is everybody going to go? They're going to go to Spearman or any other dry area that's available. So now you've got 10 cities all around town, right? Next to the rivers or next to the lakes, right? So it's really just too crazy to call, to suggest anywhere in Texas, right? And of course, you're going to have people moving from Oklahoma City as well, because that'll flood out because of just general flooding. So you have a lot of people in here, and some of them are going to move to Texas, right? So Texas is not a good option unless a person gets a very obvious vision, right? And that would be for that person to go to a certain town, right? Usually a vision takes, you get landmarks in the vision that tell you, like a dream, it tells you where it is. You may not get, you know, like, you know, maybe some people might, but you probably won't get Dalhart. Go to Dalhart. I hope that's how you say it, right? Or go to Cactus, right? It'll be some type of a dreamlike experience, right, in the vision. So that unless you get one of those to go to a certain area in Texas, then you know, that's different. But generally, for people seeking safe locations, I tell them to not be in Texas.
Like 2 more locations, if you don't mind.
No,
really
I
quick.
don't mind. It's okay. So we got. Now there was St. John's, Arizona. Okay, so St. John's, that family there or something, or?
I got some friends.
Okay.
Some community.
Oh, okay. All right.
In that vicinity.
Good. That's considerable, right? If you have friends and a community there, that's got a, in my opinion, that has a fair weight to it, right? It doesn't rate as high as a vision or a hunch, but it's up there. Well, you know, it's gonna be flooding, you know, in the area, because you've got, I know these are maybe dry rivers at the moment, but they're going to be roaring in the before and during the pole shift and after, right? So this area is likely to flood, right? But the general area works if you're higher. You want another?
Yeah.
Eureka Springs.
Arkansas.
Oh yeah, okay, I know that town. It'll be the same thing for Eureka Springs. Wet. Wet in the low areas. These so-called lakes are really just reservoirs, and they're going to drain around. They're going to drain in the direction of the Mississippi, right? So they're going to, yeah. So they're going to drain like that. So Eureka Springs Yeah, Eureka Springs works if you're up from a river, from a valley bottom. Okay,
Mhm.
so you wouldn't want to situate on Grand Avenue, right? Because it runs along the valley bottom, right? More or less, right? But here's a
Right.
good here's a great one. Breezy Circle runs on along the ridge, runs up on the ridge, right? So you're high and dry. Okay, that's the basics.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, it works. Okay, Vas. Okay, I have a family that lives, but you have family everywhere. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Surprise, Arizona. Oh. Life. Oh. Well, it's gonna flood. Not good.
Okay, thank you.
Up on the mountains and around it will work. Yeah. Well then, if anybody has a last question, we can get into it. Otherwise, we'll start to shut her down for the night.
I'd like to ask you, which direction is the globe rotating when the pole shift happens?
Okay. And I'm going to start another okay, so this will be easier to manage, I believe. Okay, this is easier to manage. Okay, so we're going to go over here. So the globe, now this is for sure, okay? There's no maybes in this, because from Iceland down to just north of Antarctica is the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, which is really a 10,000 mile long mountain range that is solid magma, cooled magma, which is has a very large percentage of iron in it. So this, you can even see the magnetic field from the Mid-Atlantic Ridge emerging right out of the side of Earth. Like typically, the magnetic field will flow nicely from north to south in a nice circle, a nice arc like that, right? But if you turn Earth on its side and you find the right NASA image, you'll see a magnetic field coming straight out like that, straight out into space, and that's the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. Okay, so that locks onto Nibiru as it's passing overhead within 15,000 miles. 15 million. Good God, it isn't 15,000. 15 million miles, and so it stops rotating with its with the Mid-Atlantic facing Nibiru as it passes overhead. So that means that the South Pole then is attracted to Nibiru's North Pole, which is pointing at Earth at the time. So naturally, as Nibiru passes overhead of Earth, the South Pole is pulled up like that.
Okay.
Right? So that means that, so this is a given, right? So that means if you rotate the globe like this, and we're looking at the passage of Nibiru up here, like 15 million miles, you can't see, we don't have enough scale here to show it, right? But the globe will go like that, right? So Europe and Africa and Eurasia rotate, the north rotates, so north becomes east. Okay?
Okay.
Whereas in North America and South America, now we're looking at it from the other side, like this, the north becomes, our north, the old north becomes the new west. Like that, okay? So that's how that works, okay?
So wherever we go on the globe, are we always supposed to be 100 foot and up above sea level?
You're talking about your elevation from the sea.
Yes.
Okay. The Zeta Talks says you need to be 100 miles from the coast and at a minimum and 200 feet in elevation.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
100 miles and 200 feet
Yeah,
up.
but England sinks, right? England is pulled down, for example, right?
Yeah.
Another example, counterpoint to that, is that New Zealand and Eastern Australia get pushed up 150 to 200 feet, depending on whether it's New Zealand or, right, or Australia, Eastern Australia. Conversely, Western Australia goes under the waves, as does into India.
Okay.
And the east coast of the North America, the from New York down to Florida loses elevation by sagging by about anywhere from 100 to 250 feet in Florida. I'm just speaking in just general basic terms. So that's because the Atlantic is spreading drastically during the pole shift. That means that all the countries, with exception of Iceland and Greenland and Africa, but all the other countries lose elevation around the Atlantic, and I do believe South America does not lose much elevation. Okay, so there's a general thing for you. So so what I'm saying is it depends where you are on the globe, which continent you are, and where you are on that continent. So you got to be careful, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so Karen has a question. On the mountain of PA around Equinunk area being a good spot, what would be that around there? We were talking about this area here last week, and that area, that's going to be about 50 degrees north latitude. Yeah, that puts you somewhere between 40 to 50. I would say more like 45 degrees, but I would count on it being closer to 50 degrees north latitude, Karen. This is my own future map I drew up years ago. Anyways, there'll be lots of water bodies nearby. So, it'll be, when you get water bodies nearby, you have weather, it modifies the weather. So, yeah, New York gets crazy freezing weather, right? But I don't think it'll be like that at all. But I think that's unique to New York right now. You know what? This is the thing about meteorology, is it's really, really a science unto itself.
Okay.
And it's very difficult to, but I would say the weather would be acceptable.
Okay.
Right?
So would it be seasons or constantly one type of temperature?
No, you'd have seasons. You definitely have seasons. Oh yeah, you're going to have seasons. Don't forget that the globe, the weather on the globe is going to normalize.
Okay.
Right? So
it'll be winter, summer.
Yeah, you'll have warm summers, cold winters.
Okay.
And you'll have a growing season, and you'll have a fall. Yeah. So
Okay. Would the growing season be a little bit longer than New
no,
York?
I
Or
don't
you
think so. I don't think it's going to be particularly long. But use your waking dreams.
Okay.
Ask for a waking dream to tell you what the weather would be like, and for you, and if you were to go to Equinunk, that area,
Okay.
and see what comes. Okay.
All right.
And then if you get something, if you notice it, let me know. Because
Okay.
you know what a synchronicity is?
Yes. Yes.
It's the same thing.
Okay.
So you're thinking about the weather, and then
Mhm.
and then somebody walks by with a T-shirt saying, "Wow, it's hot in here," or something. It's like, or a bird would come and land, a warm weather bird would be, or some bird will land near you and start singing a beautiful song, right?
Mhm.
You have to be open to that, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So if you're open to that, or it could be something on the radio. You're thinking about it, and then you turn the radio on, it says, "Oh, the weather's great over here, this place," right? So that's the kind of thing, how it works.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. There's one thing I want to bring up to you. There's someone I spoke to who's aware of the pole shift, and he's been doing a lot of research about this subject. He talked about the pole shift many years ago.
Okay. Myrtle Beach.
Yes.
You're talking
So I
about
was just curious.
Edgar Cayce?
Yes, yes, yes. So
Okay.
I wonder if you heard about this or.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Okay.
Now, do I agree?
Yeah, I just want to know your
That's
thoughts
the
on
question, right? Yeah. Well, no. Myrtle Beach, Carolina, is front line to receive the.
Right, right, right.
Now he might have meant Myrtle Beach area. Who knows? I'd have to research to see what he how he framed it
Okay,
to
okay.
know, right? But my guides say no, it isn't. So I don't know what he
Okay.
was thinking. He was a great man.
Right, right.
He was a great man.
Mm-hmm.
But I
And
don't know what.
yes.
I have to disagree with him. And
Okay.
I'm on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just a little person compared to what he did in his lifetime, right? But from a scientific standpoint, no, it's not a safe location. How could it be? It's on the coast, right? So, yeah, right. So I'm gonna look that up, see if I can find some of his predictions and
Okay.
of safe locations. He predicted, I believe, the pole shift would be in 2000.
Okay.
I think, and
Oh, okay.
so, but things had changed then. You see, since then, the
Mm-hmm.
timing had changed, right? So when he was doing these predictions, I believe was it in the 40s or the 50s?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, see, all this requires background study. You see,
Mm-hmm.
but there was a very big event, global event that happened around 1947. That
Mm-hmm.
changed the whole future of Earth.
Okay.
And so he might have been going with the old energy at the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
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 All right. Well, thank you, Chris. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Mark is asking about a particular location. This will be the last. Okay. There we go. I got people I know that have contacted me from they're in extreme southern America. I mean, right down there, right? And they're going to build this big thing, big community down there, and this and that. And I looked at it, and oh God, it's going to get the seawater is going to touch it, right? and I haven't heard back from them. You know, I told them in the first email, I said, don't build there until I look at it because it's awful close, right? So people should be paying me thousands of dollars for that information. I saved them, you know, people, yeah, anyways, I'm whining. Okay. No, I get personal consultation, that's okay. So, so I'm gonna go to satellite. Map. Yeah, that works. Yeah, that works.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, see, you're up at somewhere around here, and that's like 1250, and the Kings River is at 55, 100. So you're 105 feet, I believe, above. I'm not a math whiz, trust me, but you're about 100 feet above the river, so you're good there. And I got confirmation from my guides that it's good. Okay?
Great.
Okay.
Much obliged.
Yeah, okay. Okay, well. Okay, well, I guess I'll call it a night. And so thanks everybody for coming in. It's always lots of fun to look at all these areas and visit a little bit and find out about new areas and stuff. Especially early on work with Africa, so that I've been putting off, as I said earlier. So, all right, so I'll bid everyone a good night or a good morning, depending wherever you are, and we'll call it a session.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're very
Thanks, Chris.
welcome. You're very
Thank you,
welcome.
Chris.
You're welcome, Karen.
Thank you.
Okay, well. Okay, Melanie. Yeah. Okay. Good night.